Okay, today on the drill press, it's really not that complicated. Basically, what I want you to do when you're putting your drill bit in is use your key. This is the key to it, or actually the chuck. Key to the chuck anyway. You will tighten it up in each one of the 3 holes that goes around here. The reason I want you to do that is just to make sure that all of your plungers down here are coming down onto your bit equally. A lot of people don't do that, but in this shop I would like to have you tighten all 3 of them. Once you get your wood in, you need to determine, are you going to be drilling all the way through the wood? If not, there's a stop here on the back side that you can readjust, and I'll show you individually how to do that, but that way you can set and drill each hole the same depth all the way through. If you're going all the way through, you want to have a backer board put on so that when you're drilling through, if you don't have that on there, number one, you're either going to be drilling into my plate here, and that's not going to be good, or number two, you'll be drilling down through this hole where there's no support where your drill bit will set, and you'll end up blowing out the back side. The other thing that I want to make sure that you understand, if at all possible, put part of your wood back up against this column. For example, if we're cutting or drilling a hole clear up here in the front, leave this back here. Don't set this out here, and don't have it on this side of you, because if you do and you let go or something gets caught, it's going to provide you with a pretty good little whack. Start it back here, drill your hole. As you move up, you drill your hole. As you move up, drill your hole. When you get past here, if you can turn your board around and then drill out lengthwise, finishing it out, that's the best way of doing it. If you have to drill here in the middle and it won't hit back here, the other alternative is to clamp the board down. You need to make sure that this board is secure, well-founded, and laying flat. If you let it get away from you, let it tip a little bit, it's going to move and somebody's going to get hurt. Okay? The other thing, once your machine is on, now obviously we have it unplugged, but once your machine is on, this plastic needs to be down in front. What that will do is that will keep any chips from chipping and coming up and hitting it. It also makes a very easy way to shut the machine off if need be. You're on, you're going down, and you're running into trouble, you can just simply push on the plastic and it'll shut the machine off. That's one of the good points on this safe. Okay. Number 2, power miter box. Make sure that there's nothing on your table when you're starting. When you're using the power miter box, do not be concerned that if the wood is up against the wood fence out here. That is not a concern. What is concern is that it is up against the metal fence. Okay? If any part of it is not up against the metal fence, you need to figure out why it's not. It might have some dust up underneath here, or a chip, part of a knot, something. Get that all cleaned out. Make sure that there's nothing down here that's going to deter the wood. Lay the wood up flat, realizing that from the center point here out to here is about 6 inches. That's as close as what I'd like to have your hands. Hold clear out to the outside when you're cutting. Okay? As you bring the tool down, the guard will automatically come up. So don't sit up here and hold your guard up. Okay? Let it do its job by supporting itself. Second thing, if you're cutting a long board and it does not fit up against the fence here, in other words, it's touching back here and touching here, but not touching right here in the middle. First thing I'd like to have you do is to turn the board over so that the bow is away, not to. and push it up here, and it'll be off on the outside, but it'll be touching right here in the middle. If you cannot turn it over, if for some reason you have to cut with the bow being out and it's not touching here, instead of pushing back on the board, you need to be pushing straight down and taking your cut very slow as you're running through. Okay? I would prefer you, though, turn it over. It's going to be a lot safer, and it won't be jumping on the machine as much. Okay, to move this machine, you simply unscrew the lock, lift up on the bottom, trigger, and move it over to the proper position. Do not just simply push it over and jam it between stops. What that does is ruin my stops and also moves this angle plate down here. So then therefore, when people come back to try to cut a 90-degree angle, it may be at an 88 degree or an 87 degree, and that's going to cause a lot of problems. So take your time, unscrew it, lift the lock, and move it to where you want it, and let it slide in. Okay, that's it for there.